What's up, guys? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, and we are here early to bring you guys a hurricane discussion forecast before the Chase team goes live here in like an hour or so. Right now, they're just looking for a safe spot to shelter while they film. Got to do this safely if they can, and so once they find that spot, they're going to go ahead and live stream it for as long as internet allows. So we're going to jump into this ahead of time to give you guys an expectation of what to look out for. So if you guys are in or around the hurricane area in Florida, I'm sure you've had your eyes on this for the past couple of days. It did intensify last night. That was expected. We were looking at it to possibly gain strength into the overnight and early morning hours. It did, and it did that and then some. So right now it is a strong category 4 hurricane with winds in excess of 150 miles an hour, bordering on a category 5. So we're going to see what it can do. It doesn't have a whole lot of time before it reaches shore here. But now, because of such intensification, it has a chance to bring hurricane force winds now to even the east coast of Florida. So we're going to talk about all that, and then the impacts, the wind damage possible, the flooding, the storm surge, and all of that is coming up here. Really quick, come see us at the RCAT MRCA Roofing Conference. That ends tomorrow. So you got a couple of days for that before we'll be out of the Fort Worth area, but come out and see us there. We're always excited to see our clients and our viewers. So right now, here is Ian. A lot of the area, that whole red swath in between Tampa and Fort Myers here is under a hurricane warning. Appropriately, because it is currently creeping on making landfall. Making landfall is when, you know, the eye moves over the shore, and right now they're in the eye wall in the Fort Myers, Port Charlotte area. So it's got that nice symmetry, and again, it really intensified. That eye has opened up, so it's possible that Frank, Derek, and Allie, once they get into that eye, are going to be able to see the sunshine, which would be pretty crazy. So here's our water vapor. I'm trying to check back and forth. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments, but you know, my webcam is here and my comments show up over there, so I gotta kind of hop back and forth. Here it is on water vapor. Again, you can see how that eye kind of opened up through the early morning hours as it's moved towards shore. And again, it's just a really nice symmetrical storm right now, looking pretty powerful, again, bordering on that category 5 strength. So the latest observations per 11 a.m. were that it's moving now north-northeast. It made that turn last night, but now it's slowing down a little bit to 9 miles an hour. It was at 10 or 11 last night. No, it doesn't seem like a lot, but hurricanes don't move that fast anyways, so it is starting to make that reduction in forward speed as it moves towards Fort Myers. Winds again are at 155 miles an hour with gusts up to 190 in the eye wall of that. So currently we are 50 miles to the west-northwest of Naples, Florida, 45 miles southwest of Punta Gorda, and our chase team is patiently awaiting what is expected to be a very powerful hurricane. So we're going to go into winds, first talking about the wind radius. So if you guys are in the yellow, that is where you're going to be seeing tropical storm force winds, so anything greater than 40 miles an hour. Once you get into that orange swath, that's where you get severe winds, and then the red circle is going to be hurricane force winds, okay? So right now, when it makes landfall, it is expecting to bring hurricane force winds to anywhere from Fort Myers to really almost near Bradenton. The Sarasota area should be seeing hurricane force winds. Again, very strong hurricane force winds, 100 plus. And then severe winds for anywhere from Tampa to Naples, really, and then a lot of the Florida peninsula is going to be seeing tropical storm force winds this afternoon. Then as it continues to move inward, Tampa, again, is still going to be in those severe winds for this evening as the storm continues to make its way inland. And again, a lot of Florida still seeing those tropical storm force winds, but now we're seeing the storm start to lose some intensity as it moves fully over land. There you go for the East Coast. You know, yesterday when it was expected to intensify, but how much was the big question, and it performed. So now that it's this strong of a storm, as it moves over towards eastern Florida, there is still potential to see severe winds and potentially even hurricane force gusts here and there across the east coast of Florida with this storm by Thursday morning. Then tracking up towards Jacksonville, still that potential for severe winds now through Jacksonville, as well as even the area, I believe, near Savannah, could get some severe winds with the remnants of Hurricane Ian as it continues to kind of diminish over the Carolinas by Sunday. So waiting on all that. But for now, here's that track update for 11 a.m. There it is, making landfall here very shortly. And again, our chase team is going to go live. That's why we're doing this early. Once it moves over land, that decrease in intensity is expected to start, but not before Category 3 force hurricane winds are hitting the area between Fort Myers and Tampa. So as it continues off to the north and east, Orlando could be seeing hurricane force gusts, potentially 70-mile-an-hour winds from Ian as it passes over you guys by Thursday morning, and then off it goes up towards Savannah by Sunday and weakening through the Carolinas once again. Now, here's overall the wind speed forecast. These are point specific, so I'd pay more attention to the map and find your area there. But the gist is that, again, Tampa, you guys are not in the clear when it comes to seeing damaging winds from this storm. Fortunately, storm surge has become less of an issue for you guys, and that really is a big factor in hurricanes. However, you still get some damaging wind potential by today and tonight. Then as that storm moves off to the east, there you go with the potential again to see hurricane force winds through central Florida from Ian, and then a possibility to have it kind of gain a little bit of steam back once it moves over the Atlantic, but not much before again it kind of curves back onto the US East Coast and fizzles out by the weekend. So here's your chance of seeing tropical storm force winds if you guys are in Miami, Fort Myers, Tampa, and Orlando. Jacksonville, it's going to be much later in the week. You guys were on here. There we go. Okay. So all those cities plus Jacksonville. Right now, Fort Myers, Orlando, and Tampa all have, pretty much about 100% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds because you're already in them. And that should be decreasing by Thursday afternoon and evening. Then things will kind of get started for Jacksonville into Thursday, but it'll be a lower end chance. Again, it's on its way out, it's on its way down in intensity. And then Miami, everything's looking like it'll move through today, and you could get a couple gusts in the tropical storm force range, as well as some spin-up tornadoes possible. So here is what we have for your wind forecast for today. We got the light blue swath out. We don't use that very often, but it is appropriate for a storm like Ian. So we've got 95-mile-an-hour gusts plus possible, again, all the way from Tampa down into even Naples. Key West was getting some severe reports coming in today. So, and then pretty much the whole central and south part of the Florida Peninsula could see hurricane force gusts. So I got y'all in the dark blue for today. So Melbourne, Miami, Key West, y'all got a moderate chance of seeing some hurricane force gusts today and tonight. And then Tampa and Fort Myers, you guys are, again, the two that people have been talking about pretty much all week. You got a pretty good chance to see some damaging winds tonight. And then those on the East Coast should also pay attention to potential spin-up tornadoes with any of those outer rain bands. Then for tomorrow, as it continues to make its way up Florida and along the US East Coast, we're going to bring down those wind speed values since it'll be weakening, but still severe winds and tornadoes possible for the area. So Melbourne, Jacksonville, Charleston specifically, it's going to be kind of tracking through that area, so you want to be on the lookout for that as well as possible tornadoes. And then Tampa, it'll be making its way out of your area by tomorrow morning. So now moving into rainfall, all right, because, wind and flooding are really, your two primary threats with hurricanes. So the gist of this is that, it's starting now. It's almost making its landfall. And as it continues to move over Florida, some crazy flooding values are expected specifically south of Tampa. So if you guys are in the Sarasota area, Venice, Bradenton, that whole area is expected to see prolific rainfall from this storm, and that's really what you want to keep in mind. Now, storm surge again should not be as much of an issue, and here's what we got for that. Not a ton for Tampa because now the winds are blowing away from shore and out towards the ocean, so it's not pulling that ocean water in towards you guys. So not as much to worry about for Tampa for storm surge. However, once we get down into Inglewood, Port Charlotte, even through St. James City, Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, that whole area is expected to see double digits in terms of storm surge. The National Hurricane Center, I can even pull it up here because now I can use my phone, but the National Hurricane Center is calling for peak surge in the Charlotte Harbor area to be from 12 to 18 feet. So definitely nothing to mess around with right now. If you're in that area, it's always a good idea to try to, seek higher ground in the case of floodwater. Then down to Naples, Marco Island, and southern Florida here. Kind of the same story, expecting to see a great deal of storm surge from Ian as it continues to push that ocean water up into your area, and it's a low-lying area, so that doesn't help out a ton. So if y'all are in that area, we're thinking about you, and just hoping that Ian gets in and out pretty quickly. So for the most at-risk cities for storm surge, we got Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, and Naples on there. No surprise. Y'all got a good chance to see a lot of flooding due to A, rainfall, but then B, that immense storm surge that's bringing on shore by those 150-mile-an-hour winds. Then once we get into Sarasota, Tampa, and Miami, lower chances for you all. Y'all aren't positioned to see as much of that storm surge flooding from this storm. Then for power outages, okay, this is kind of a new product here, but it just shows the potential for power outages through the area with Hurricane Ian. So by this afternoon, there is the potential to see widespread power outages from Fort Myers even into Sarasota. I know a couple of people that I am in contact with hang out in Sarasota, and they've already lost power. So we're already seeing that in effect. And then as Ian continues to cross Florida, there's still the potential to see a good deal of people through central Florida losing power from the storm. And then that should kind of diminish as the storm weakens and tracks off into the Atlantic. So for city impacts for you guys in Tampa, we have been able to reduce those a little bit, which has been fortunate. So still a chance to see some spin-up tornadoes, but storm surge risk is low right now, 1 to 3 feet possible. So, still expected to see some flooding from rain up to 10 inches. Definitely could see some accumulating water from this storm for sure. But you've shifted to a more optimal position to avoid storm surge from Ian. But still seeing Category 4 strength wind speeds at landfall, so you're not out of the woods yet for damaging wind potential. Then into Fort Myers, it's a little bit of a different story. Now this storm has shifted south, that's helped out Tampa. It's hurt the Fort Myers area, unfortunately, so still tornadoes possible on the outer ends of that storm, on the outer bands. And then storm surge and wind damage are both now the primary concerns with this storm. 15-foot plus storm surge possible. Again, NHC is calling for up to 18 feet through the Port Charlotte area, and then 150-mile-an-hour plus wind damage or wind speed possible through the area. So those are the two primary concerns, but you could also get some flooding from rainfall. So again, if you guys are in or around the Fort Myers area, just stay extra careful today. So leaving you guys again with our Chase Team Tracker, because they will be following up this video with their live, and they're gonna again stay live for as long as they can keep internet. So right now their current target, they are currently in Punta Gorda, and Frank said this morning that they might reposition to Port Charlotte depending on where exactly they think that eye is going to land, because ideally that's what they're going to intercept. So he said it's going to be here at Port Charlotte depending on where they think it's coming ashore. Hurricane continues to intensify, and he said that they are expecting to see some damage after this, unfortunately. So we're going to keep our eye out for that, keep their eye out for the live. If you guys haven't haven't yet, make sure to follow us. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're going to be live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok for this event. So make sure to follow us on all of those. It's at Hail Trace at everything, so it's easy. And then you can call us at 855-334-4245 if you have any questions, or you can email us at info@hailtrace.com, or check out hailtrace.com. We got a cool website, got lots of good info on there. And we're going to keep you guys updated. We're going to be posting and streaming constantly throughout today. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers. Thanks for watching.